An interesting fate of a loving child who grew up to become a man of an obsessional love.
But before we start, please make sure to subscribe to Did You Know and hit the bell so you never miss an upload from us. Also, leave a like right now.
The good badly done and the bad goodly done. A deep meaning that can resume the story of a little boy, Aiden, and the journey of his life with his mother, Ellen. They lived in a wide house where family members used to come over and share their life routine with the mother. Ellen was a royal type and particularly sweet with Mabel, the little beautiful girl having the same age of Aiden and meant to be his cousin and his crush. The 7th of a warm, shiny morning, Aiden woke up and faced his window to see the group of his friends already went out to play football. And then he looked aside to see the farmhouse, which is owned by his family, and decides to start his morning by going there and get his outfit to help his father instead of playing with his friends. Who would have known that this 7th morning will turn his life upside down, and his innocence will suffer? He was meant to live with the pleasure of being the little boy we keep inside of us when we grow old. There's an infant part in our souls which longs for the lullaby truths of life every night for a tranquil slumber. Munya Khan. Ellen was treated as a queen by everybody. She had a strong character and a high respect to impose, but sweet to the kids who used to run around her house, especially with sweet, beautiful Mabel, who was loved and better treated than Aiden. But still, his love to her was aflame and the infant heart he had. Back in the morning when Aiden was going to the farmhouse, his little steps walked him in, and then his eyes fell down unexpectedly to see his father lying in the ground and drowning in blood. The trauma found its way to Aiden's life by the discovery of a murdered father. Ellen spent her days showing strength and courage, but did not pay attention to her son and his tragedy. She started to treat him worse than before, like if she was blaming him for something he did not do. Poor Aiden faced the loss alone with a lot of damaged heart pieces. He spent his time since then watching his mother being extremely cruel to him and angelically nice to his loved Mabel. This caused him guilt and the feeling of being rejected by his mother and also Mabel. That would be the worst feeling a human being can have regardless of Aiden's age. He kept thinking of the special thing about Mabel that makes her so loved and beautifully cared about. His love kept growing to be a huge one. Love at infancy is the strongest and purest of all. It's mixed with infatuation and deep happiness. Persistent smile brings out hollow dimples, and persistent frowns brings out hollow wrinkles. Michael Bassey Johnson. The only good thing that was comforting him was his brother Joe. Joe was a role model for Aiden. He was successful in his studies and decided to carry on as a military. He was respected and a source of his mother's pride. But this wasn't for long because Joe's job requires his absence at home. The day when his absence started, Aiden was heartbroken, and no wonders why. The loss, the loneliness, the cold treatment of his mother, also the rejection of his love Mabel were all such a wrecking monster, attacking Aiden's heart nonstop. Years have passed and the situation never got better. His love to Mabel became an obsession that makes him escape the painful reality. He dreams of her day and night and occupies his heart from feeling horrible because of the loss of his father, absence of his adored brother, and dealing with his cruel mother. Mabel was the only one who seemed as a savior from a dark reality which the adult Aiden got stuck into. Psychological facts show that the adults who suffer from developmental trauma may go on to develop complex post-traumatic stress disorder, which is characterized by difficulties in emotional regulation, consciousness and memory, self-perception, distorted perceptions, and perpetrators of abuse, difficulties in relationships with other people, and negative effects on the meaningfulness of life. Aiden suffered so much from these symptoms that he went crazy in love with his cousin Mabel and did his best to win her heart. After keep trying, the good news was that they managed to be together, and the bad news was he won her by threatening her, and she was never able to love him back. Mabel did never know how to love him or act like it. She was such a protector and acted aggressively every time Aiden came near her. One night, Aiden forced her to be nice and loving. He was strongly into her and needed her love, but sadly she was unable to resist him, and the scene ended up as a rape. Mabel fought a lot in order to escape from him, but the fail of that caused her death. Aiden murdered the love of his life due to his needy obsession about her. The absence of love can transform a human being to a thirsty vampire who can murder to taste some of the love's warmth.